Hello and welcome to the video on writing for regulatory submissions and drug protection activities by Writing Academy of Henry Harvin Education. In this video, we'll learn about the drug approval process and regulations in India and regulatory writing. But before getting into the video, make sure to subscribe to our Writing Academy channel and press the bell icon for getting all the updates on time.
So now next is the drug approval process in India. So how the drug gets approved in India, so that we will discuss. So Drug and Cosmetics Act 1940 and Rules 1945, they regulate the import, manufacture, distribution and sale of drugs and cosmetics. Schedule Y provide the guidelines and requirements for clinical trials, that is for CDSCO. They provides the guidelines, and through that guidelines only by following that guidelines only the drug enters into the market. So this matters, so it contains the matters related to drug approval or product approval and standards, what are the standards, what are the clinical trials which are conducted, and introduction about the new drug, that what is a new drug, in what indication it can be used, and import license of the new drug. If the drug is being imported, then import license of the new drug. These all documents they have to provide. When a company in India wants to manufacture, import or import a new drug, that is how drug, it has to apply to 6 permissions, to seek permission from the licensing authority DCGI by filing. So if anyone wants to apply according to Schedule Y, if anyone wants to apply for a new drug, it is an entirely a new drug, then they have to fill form number 44. In order to prove this efficacy and safety, Indian population, it has to conduct clinical trials in accordance with the guidelines specified in Schedule Y and submit such report of each clinical trials in specified format. So in case if like they know that they know the specification related to the safety and efficacy of the Indian population. So in according to that, they come up with the guidelines which are specified in Schedule Y, and they do not hold, they get the proof, they get their efficacy and safety proof, they stand in the line, and then after that such clinical trials are reported. Then through the International Council of Harmonization, ICH, is CTD, the common technical document is framed, which is used by the ICH members only. And however, most of the countries, including India, they have adopted CTD format just for the application submission. So drug regulations in India. So as per section 2.4 of Schedule Y of Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and Rules 1945, drug substances that are discovered in India are required to conduct all phases of clinical trials. So according to this section, all the drugs which are discovered in India, they have to conduct, so it is mandatory that on those drugs, all the phases of clinical trials are to be conducted. Then section 2.4b of Schedule Y of Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and Rules 1945, drug substances which are discovered in countries other than India, the applicant is to produce the data available from other countries, and the licensing authority may require him to repeat the study or permit him to proceed to phase 3 clinical trials. So now the drug substances which are discovered in countries not in, but in other countries, not in India, and if they are willing to manufacture or sell their drug in India as well, so in that case the licensing authority, they require that all the data should be available from those countries and only to conduct phase 3 trials. Then section 2.8 of Schedule Y of Drugs and Cosmetics Act 1940 and Rules 1945 says that the licensing authority may require pharmacokinetic studies or bioequivalence studies first to show that the data generated in Indian population is equal to the data generated abroad, and then require him to proceed with phase 3 trial. So now the phase 1, phase 2 trials are not required, but bioequivalence trials are required to show that the data generated in Indian population is equal to the data which is generated in the other population, and then they will continue with the phase 3 trials. So now we will discuss about the contents, what is the format and content which is to be there in each type of application. So first is the IND. So IND application, new drug application, is a result of a successful preclinical development program. So a preclinical development program is developed and IND application is filed. The IND is also the vehicle through which a sponsor advances to the next stage of drug development known as clinical trials. So the investigational new drug application, it is also submitted and it also through the sponsor, which then it advances to the next stage of the drug development process, which is known as the clinical trial process or human clinical trial. So there are two types of INDs, commercial INDs and non-commercial INDs. So commercial INDs are the INDs which are the commercial INDs. They are the INDs which are done like when the INDs are filed by the sponsor, for which they requires the that they want to market the product. And research or non-commercial INDs are the INDs which are filed in which it is not required. The sponsor does not require, they just want to conduct the study, but they are not willing to market the product. What is the content of IND? So first is the cover sheet, or which is a form number FDA 1571. Then after that, the table of contents. Then the introductory statement and what will be the general investigational plan to conduct the clinical studies further. Then the investigator's brochure is attached along with the clinical study protocol. Then CMC, that is chemistry, manufacturing and control information, like how the drug will be manufactured, what the quality analysis will be done, what is how the controls like sterile and all, what will be, how it will be achieved. So that, then what is the experience with previous human experience along with the investigational drug, and then additional information relevant to that is provided. This is how it is, the information is arranged. You can see in this form the introductory statement, which contains a general investigational plan. Then after that, the summary of previous human experience with the drug. Then if the drug has been withdrawn from the investigation or from marketing from any other country, then investigational plan, what is the general investigational plan. Then after that, the investigator's brochure, protocol, then CMC, the information, what is the drug substance, what is the drug product, if placebo is used, then how the label is done, and the environmental analysis for temperature and for humidity. Then pharmacology and toxicology information, like data which is available from human experience and with the investigational drug. Summary of the previous human experience, if there is the data available and if applicable. Then if the data is a combination of drug which is previously investigated or marketed, or if a drug has been marketed outside the United States, and then additional information which is applicable for the radioactive drugs, or if the drug is for causes drug dependence, or if the drug is having the abuse potential. Then after that, ANDA is submitted. So ANDA is submitted for which contains the data submitted to FDA Center of Drug Evaluation and Research, which is Office for Generic Drug, and for review of ultimate approval for the generic drug product. So means the drug which is already available as a brand name, but now its patent has been expired, and the patent generally expired in 10 to 15 years. So when the patent has been expired, and now when the patent is expired, so now the drug is available to be marketed as a generic drug. Okay, so we need to do the bioequivalence study to check whether the drug is same, or whether the efficacy, safety and safety of the drug is same or not, and quality of the drug is same or not. So once ANDA is approved, an applicant may manufacture and market the generic drug product to provide a safe, effective, low cost alternative to the public. Because now it is a generic drug, so its price will be less. Okay, as it is a generic drug, so its price will be lesser than the branded drug. So the drug applications, our generic drug application is termed as abbreviated because they are generally not include, because in this the preclinical data and the clinical data is already established, which establishes the safety and effectiveness, and so there is no need to conduct the preclinical and the clinical studies, but only the bioequivalence studies to see that the drug is safe as that of the branded drug. So that studies are conducted. Instead, generic applicants must scientifically demonstrate that their product is bioequivalent, that is, it performs at the same manner as the innovator drug. Then Hatch-Waxman Act of 1984 regulates the process. So the Hatch-Waxman Act, they regulates the process of ANDA approval, which is, and Hatch-Waxman Act is related to drug price control. So Code of Federal Regulations, the following regulations apply to ANDA. First is 21 CFR 314, which states the application for FDA approval to market a new drug or antibiotic drug. 21 CFR 320 is for what are the requirements for bioavailability and bioequivalence studies, BABE studies. And then the 21 CFR 310 is for the new drugs. Okay, so Office of Generic Drug, OGD, they strongly encourages the submission of bioequivalence, chemistry, and labeling portions of the application in the electronic format. What is the content and format of abbreviated new drug application? The first is the application form. So same application form is submitted. Then the table of contents. Then why this ANDA is submitted? What is the basic requirement for the submission of this ANDA? And what are the conditions of the use of the active ingredients? What are the ingredients which are added, and what is the use and what indication these active ingredients are used? What is the route of administration which is followed, doses, form, and strength? Then BABE studies are done, bioequivalence and bioavailability studies are done. Then CMC information is submitted. Then patent certification. So there are different types of patent certification that I will discuss. Under what certification the ANDA application is filed, so that you have to write. Then financial certification and the disclosure statement and any other information, related information if required. So these are different types of certifications. Paragraph 1 certification is when the patent information has not been submitted to the FDA. When for the original drug, if the patent information is not been submitted, then the drug is available for generic marketing and manufacture. Paragraph 2 certification, in which the patent has been expired. Paragraph 3 certification, in the patent will expire on that particular date. And paragraph 4 certification, in which the patent is invalid or it is unforeseeable, or if the drug is sold as a generic drug or manufactured as a generic drug, the patent will not be infringed. So under what certification the ANDA is filed? So that is mentioned that it is filed against paragraph 1 certification, paragraph 2 certification, paragraph 3 certification, or paragraph 4 certification. The next is BLA. BLA is biological licensing application. So the biological license application is a request for permission to introduce or deliver for introduction a biological product into interstate commerce. Okay, the form which is required here, that is 356H. The grant of biological licensing application certifies that the biological product which is used, it is safe, pure, and potent, and the facilities where it is manufactured, it meets the standards, because the sterile condition, installation of HEPA filters, these are the most frequent. This is a requirement, first and the foremost requirement for the manufacturing, sales, and marketing of the biological licensing product, so that it can be understood that the drug is safe, pure, and potent. Examples of biologicals are like viruses, therapeutic inactivated viruses, therapeutic serums, vaccines, and blood components. So for biological licensing application, form number, FDA form number 356H is filed, which contains the manufacturer's information. Then product or manufacturing information, in which the source of raw material, from where the raw material is being procured. So that information is given, because if the raw material is contaminated, then the whole product, the final product, will also be contaminated. Then manufacture process, how the manufacture process is done and how the contamination is controlled during the manufacturing process. What type of formulation which is used, information about the facilities, like whether they have the facility for sterile manufacturing or not, whether the HEPA filters are installed or not. Then contamination or cross contamination information. So the information about the permissible contamination and what is the information and what are the chances if the drug can get cross contaminated. And the environmental assessment related to the temperature, because generally the biological products, they are stored at a lower temperature only. So throughout the stages, like during the manufacturing, storage, marketing, and then after marketing also, when the product is stored in the pharmacy stores, that requires refrigeration. It requires refrigeration. Then preclinical studies. So what is the data which is obtained from the preclinical studies? What is the data which is obtained from the clinical studies? And then the labeling. Okay, that what information will be there on the label. So that is provided. And one more type of application is filed, that is SNDA. SNDA is supplemental new drug application. So the application which is submitted for an already approved NDA for if there is any changes in packaging, labeling, doses, ingredients, or any new indication. So for that case, if there is any change in the packaging or in the labeling or in the doses form or in any kind of, if there is any change in the ingredient, so for that, SNDA is filed, which is supplemental new drug application. CDER must approve all important NDA changes if there is in packaging, ingredients, or if but the condition of the product is original. The companies are allowed to make changes to drugs on or their label after they have been approved. So once the drug is approved, then the label can be changed. The drugs, the label of the drugs can be changed, but it needs to be approved first. So to change a label, market a new doses or strength of a drug, to change the way it manufactures a drug, a company must submit a supplemental new drug application. In case if there is a change in a label or the new doses form comes in the market, or the strength of the drug is changed, or the drug manufacturing process is changed, so then in that case, the company must file the supplemental new drug application. Okay, SND. Understood? Is it clear? So the drug approvals in US, Europe, and India are the most demanding in the world. Okay. And the primary purpose and rules governing medicinal products in European Union, US, and India is to safeguard public health. It is the role of public regulatory authorities to ensure that the pharmaceutical companies must comply with these regulations. And these are the legislations that require drugs to be developed, tested, trailed, and manufactured in accordance to the guidelines, so that they are safe and patients' well-being is protected.
That's all for this video. Do share it with your fellow mates and subscribe to our Writing Academy channel of Henry Harvin Education for more educational content. And just a quick information, we are now the approved training partner and proudly collaborated with the Project Management Institute, IU Germany, IIT Guwahati, and College de Paris. Thank you for watching our video.